Low key, I'm not gonna do starting soon screen. Don't think I'm doing that today. Did it already ping my server? Oh. Oh my gosh, it pinged my server. This is the rarest moment in history. Okay. Okay. Kind of. Let me. Hold on. I have to get something set up really quick. Like in a good no. No. Episode 9 was a disaster, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. I'm gonna pull episode 9 up first before anything, and like I'll put it on that frame. Wait, do you guys hold on, I'm figuring it out. Probably should have had this done beforehand, but okay. So regarding episode 9, there's actually a lot of controversies about episode 9 that I'm going to be talking about. But first I'm just going to be going over the writing and all of that stuff before like deep diving into the controversies. Long story short, I think the writing is okay. Well, no, it's not okay. It's actually awful coming from a writer's perspective. I do writing. I do animation. I do voice acting. I do basically everything that is in TADC to make it TADC, you know? So I can speak as a as somebody who has experience with these things, and I mean the animation's good, okay? The writing is not the best. I actually don't like the writing, and I think that it ruined the finale. I liked what they were trying to go for. The ideas were there. But the way that they executed it was really awkward, horribly written, and felt like it was a character AI thought process. Like, Gooseworks went on character AI, roleplayed as Jax. I am stealing this from my friend, but it did actually say a lot. Roleplayed as Jax and got episode 9 out of this. The voice acting's good. Really good. When it comes to the awkward moments though, I'm actually gonna show you guys what I mean. So first of all, awkward moment here.
Hex.
Just randomly does this. Very weakly too. Like I don't really get the purpose of that. And also, when it came to Pomni and Ragatha's end of like interaction, the interaction was beautiful, by the way. That was like one of the good things that was written about TADC, like this episode. It was beautiful. It was amazing. But
someone like you right now.
The way that they
Okay,
I've said this after I watched it, but
I trust you.
like the way that they're staring at each other, like, okay, that's fine. Turn away now. Like, you can see her head getting ready to turn away, but she hasn't done it yet. This is awkward. This is very bad storyboarding here. This is awkward. And you see the distance that they've already walked from each other as soon as they stop looking at each other. That's awkward. That's really awkward. Really, really bad. Really bad. I can understand looking at each other after like such a huge heartfelt scene. That's fine. I can understand that. That's okay. That's amazing. I that would show more emotion to it. But having it go for that long is overly awkward. And Jax, he was the main focus of this episode, clearly. Speaking from the teasers, this entire episode, everything. He was the main character, but he was the one that barely got any good writing that felt like genuine and vulnerable, so we could get our questions answered about him. And he also abstracts off screen. We've seen him nearly abstract in one of the episodes, so I don't know why it would be an issue to see him fully abstract, as we've never seen that with anybody in the show. So we don't know what CNA is. We don't get any proper like depth on Gangle and Zubul. It is insane favoritism. It is insane favoritism. And when it comes to the writing, as I'm reading your guys' comments, when it comes to the writing, they had months to pre-plan this, even years. And they went through it with the cast as well, and they decided that that was good writing, and that they're going to voice over that. And that was going to be the last episode. Especially with the way that episode 8 ended, and we had to wait around like 2 months for such a huge ending that was like so hyped up by Glitch Studios, by that cliffhanger. That is insane. That is insane. This is a huge letdown. This is horrible writing. The other episodes were really good. Okay? I wish we went more in depth with certain characters. Gangle, Zubul, other characters like that. But they decided to continue making it about Jax, because if you look on Twitter, deep search a little bit, Gooseworks said that Jax is my self-insert, which is okay. Having self-inserts in shows are fine, but they didn't put depth in any of the characters enough. It was all kind of just Jax, and Pomni was supposed to be the main character, and she was, but she didn't get any of that main character energy like any other main character does. Like, if you're going for something that's like mental, Amore has a perfect example of this. I'm an Amore glazer, I get it, but you can have something that's like really beautiful with the main character, even if they don't really have anything about them. You can still give them that energy. Like, Sunny doesn't speak at all throughout the game, but you play as him, you see his perspective on things and all that, and that is what makes that main character thing good writing. That is good writing right there. Even if he doesn't say anything, that's okay. And this is where I'm going to get into the controversial parts about Jax. Jax is Gooseworks self-insert, as previously mentioned, but Jax says the F slur and says misogynistic things, and exposing Gooseworks here, hello, exposing Gooseworks here, they are they hate women, and you guys are probably like thinking like, but wait, aren't they a woman themselves? Like, you know, not trying to be transphobic or anything, but they are male to female. But it is a kind of confusing concept for me. Like, you hate women, but you are transitioning into being a female. I don't know. Could just be me. Not trying to be transphobic here, but them hiding behind a character to get away with misogynistic and sexist things is insane. And it really shines through on how much these women in the show are hated on by Jax, and the excuse and the cover-ups are oh well, he's a character. It's just the script. It doesn't mean anything, but he still actively said a harmful slur and was misogynistic and sexist to female characters. And people could pass it as edgy humor, but that was not the show at all. That was not the show's humor at all. And if so, that would be terrible humor. A lot of people have said that the writing is good, that the show is good, like the episode. That's fine. I'm okay with that. People have their own perspectives on things, and that is entirely okay. I understand that. But the thing is, as a writer, as a voice actor, as an animator, 3D as well, no, this is not a good way to end such a popular series, especially with the huge steps they took for indie animation, putting this out into theaters, being one of the most viewed indie shows in the world. That is really, really insane. You cannot end a show with such a big reputation like this. And Goose's excuse was like, oh, if people are going to be mean, I'm going to end the show horribly. This seemed pre-planned. If you look at the other episodes up to this point, you can see the foreshadowing. It wasn't because of the community. It was because she didn't know how to end it. This is poor writing. If you don't know how to end a show, don't start it in the first place. Thinking about this makes me mad because I've been here since the pilot. 2 years of waiting and theories that were very stupid. Some turned out to be true. And that is what we were left with. 2 agonizingly long years waiting for this show to end with a nothing burger of us. They really wanted to have Jax be explained as this in-depth character, if you may. I'm a fan of Jax. I'm a fan of this fandom, but I don't like episode 9, and I wish that this show actually never had episode 9. Jax is a good character. He has a lot of depth to him. There was unnecessary scenes in this that just dragged this episode on, and it made it even more awkward. Example, the scenes of him just like randomly falling and shit. When Pomni's like walking up to him. And the random memories that we got that weren't necessarily needed because we know that it already means a lot to him. Like the Pomni scenes. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have said this, and I personally agree. Goose is amazing at writing characters, but not a story. And that's the issue. And the fact that Glitch even picked this up with knowing about the script, about knowing the ending and not trying to help on making it better as a studio with not thousands, but a huge, like a variety of shows that they've made, they should know how to make good writing at least. Even though that they do, they do run Gameoverse and Murder Drones, I think that's also kind of an example of a bad show. Gameoverse, overly sexualizes their characters with the female designs. Murder Drones has overly corny has an overly corny sense of humor. The ending kind of felt blank, especially with something that was so huge. But getting back on track, Glitch should know what they're doing, and it is hard to support such of a studio when they're picking up these things like misogyny. No, that's not the word. Like a script that has misogynistic and sexist writing into it, while being fully aware that Goose themselves has even said, "I don't like women." There's no way to defend this. Like, you can have a self-insert in a show. No complaints on that. None at all. It's good to have self-inserts because that can make your motivation for the show strengthen. Okay? But they had an opportunity to turn down such a show. It was creative. It was creative. But the idea does not at all surpass the excuse of hiding behind a character that can get away with saying sexist and misogynistic things because, oh, it's just a character, when the creator says that, oh, this character is a self-insert, and even has expressed that they hate that they hate women. That's not okay. And Glitch is starting to become controversial for even picking up a show like that. They went through the script. The actors did too, and decided that, oh yeah, we're gonna voice out over this. I'm sorry I keep talking about the misogynistic thing, but it pisses me off so much. This writing is awful. This writing is god awful. And people are calling it good when it has sexism in it, horrible writing, and awkward scenes that are overly extended to an amount. I don't like this show's ending. As somebody who likes the show, I can't like this ending. I can't like this episode. No matter how much you try, I cannot like this episode. I honestly had the most trouble with Jax. Me personally, I feel like he was written the worst in this episode. His writing was so good. Yes, exactly. He had his cringy moments, but like, that's kind of bound to happen in an episode and like shows and stuff, right? It's happened in almost all shows. Okay? Like, you cannot avoid being corny. Everything was about Jax and not about actual characters that we needed time to get to understand on why they acted the way they did. I'm gonna say this again. Gangle, Zubul, everybody but Jax. We knew why Jax was the way he was. Especially with this episode. And we had time. We could have chopped out unnecessary things in this script to fit understanding about the other characters that we know nothing about anymore. The thing that pisses me off the most is that they can't decide a main character at all. At first it's Pomni. And then it's Jax, and then it's Pomni, and it ends on Jax. When Pomni was a main character. That's a disaster. If you're switching between main characters and not sticking to a protagonist instead, that's not good. That's horrible writing. Because if you planned on making Jax the main character for episode 9, the last act, in the first place, then you should have made him the main character from the start. And I like how my headphones unplugged. Sorry about that. Like, Goose had such a good opportunity to make something big, huge, especially with how much success Goose has. with this series... Oh, sorry. This is going to be the worst reputation of indie shows if you don't include Has Been Hotel or maybe even Helluva Boss. If you don't include those, TADC might actually surpass that, disregarding their, very edgy jokes. If you only, pay attention to the way that everything's written, then it definitely does surpass it. But in terms of the jokes and, the problematic media, Vivzy Pop's work definitely surpasses any of that. And Goose was never a good person in the first place to begin with. Neither was any of the actors. But, separate the artist from the, separate the art from the artist, But you can't do that when the self-insert even, has the own problematic, stuff that the creator has, has that, okay, how do I word this? You can't do that. You can't separate the art from the artist when the art shows the problems that the artist has. Like Jax. I hate women. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find this. Because I want you guys to know exactly what I'm talking about.
You get in here? We have a strict no girls allowed policy. That way it shows truly just how little I care.
Oh boy, Richter. Where's the...
Where?
Messing up our...
And then...
Do any of you have a key to this door?
Nope. And even if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. You women need to learn to quit prying all the time.
That's interesting, isn't it? The amount of... It just piles a lot onto that scene. And with this scene alone, that's a few minutes, but it has around three things about that can even be considered remotely problematic. And it is problematic. I think this part was just to get something out of the Made Jax content. I'm not gonna lie to you, because what the hell happens during this?
I figured what better way to honor Zeus.
Doing it to... I hate you.
What? Don't act like you don't like it, sweet cheek.
Bro. Ew, first of all. Second of all, they really just wanted to get more Made Jax into the show. Really just wanted more Made Jax. Way more Made Jax, because that's all we can make merch out of, and we're gonna keep milking this till the day we die. Also, if you go on Goose's Twitter, you can find suggestive reposts of Jax, which I can understand. He is a character over the age of 18. Not complaining about that. But the fact that she's reposting it and acknowledging it in that type of way is awful, and even saying, I should have made my show more hornier, to be honest, when she knows teenagers are actively engaging in the show. That's disgusting. That is just straight up disgusting. And allow me to pull up one of the screenshots here, if I can find it. 'Cause this is god awful. Hold on. My cat is doing something, but it should be around when the last act got leaked. I'm gonna try quickly to look for this. I have a crap ton of screenshots. What the hell? Okay. Warning for your guys' eyes. Close them and I'll tell you when to open them. This is your warning right now, cause what is this? Gooseworks reposted this. And I'm gonna just put it down a little bit because it does show. What is this? You can open your eyes now. And Gooseworks reposted that. Like, if you want in-depth characters, going on what you're saying, Sayori, if you want in-depth characters that are scared to open up, you shouldn't have them be screaming things like, "You're manipulating me, you're using me." Like, I can understand the using things just to get it, like trying to get things from my personal life to just use it over my head, because you can have trauma from that, right? That's an understandable thing to say, especially if you have a character so in depth. But saying that, "You're manipulating me, you're using me," that is a weird thing. And the way that Jax is such a huge self-insert to the point where he even became transgender, from what I can tell at least. I don't really know where that theory came from, but I guess it could be from this. Nonetheless, the fact that it's such a huge self-insert to the point where Jax even becomes trans really shows on how much of a character he, like how much he is Gooseworks. And that's why he's so focused on. So, from what we know about Jax is that he's distant emotionally because he's scared to let anybody in. And he is, he's very, emotionally unstable. And those were, like, the main parts about him, right? But the tiny little details that we get with Jax really shows how much Goose thought about him instead of the other characters. Because I'm pretty sure you can name things, so many things, about Jax right now. Then you can name something about Pomni, the main character. Or supposedly the main character. I can understand having episodes where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be the focus for this episode, but this is not just focusing on it anymore. Like, all the episodes are about Jax. Even with Kane having such a huge, situation with him in episode 8, it still managed to be somehow not about him. Because if we go to episode 8, this is also kind of about Jax too, no? Because he's like, he gets some random scenes where he's like, where he says random dialogue just to get more dialogue, has to leave because he can't stand it, and then he's like, oh my god, this is real. Like, I can understand that with a character that's like not forcefully the main focus, but it is Jax that's forcefully the main focus. It feels, at least. And like, It's just episode 9 is genuinely insufferable, and it's hard to figure out on why it's good. They had a white guy cover a black guy's song singing about his newborn baby. And that is pretty serious if you look at the big picture. Especially when, let me search this up real quick. Okay, hold on. It says, September 28, 1976. So, an actual baby's crying and babbling was put into the mix. Searching more up. To celebrate the birth of his daughter. This is about a baby. And they decided to, and hold on, I'm gonna search another thing up. Because I don't want to be wrong on this. Okay, 2 seconds. Okay, so racism in the 1970s was very severe, okay? And that was when the song was released. It's a black guy singing about his baby, his newborn baby, and a white guy covers it, and it focuses around a character who, two characters actually, for shipping content, it seems. That degrades the entire meaning of that song by a hell ton. That song has a good meaning to it, a serious meaning, and they water it down into this really poorly bad thing. And people are calling it the Funny Bunny song. It is not a song about this ship that is not even good in the first place. It is about this guy's newborn baby. Not for your show, not for your favorite ship, a real life guy's baby. That's awful. Episode 9 is really fucking problematic, and I'm not supporting episode 9, and I am not supporting Gooseworks, and I know that Glitch is going to make it go down the Murder Drones route, milk it for merch, and I bet the majority of it is going to be like Jack's merch and Gummy Goo merch, and a lot of the Jack's stuff I bet is going to be the maid costume. Because if you look at episode 6, I think it was, when that outfit gets introduced, it's out of nowhere. Genuinely out of nowhere. And it wasn't even funny in the first place. And it seems like I'm gonna try to put this in a way that is YouTube friendly. It seems like it was put in there as a I don't know if this would be the right term to use, but pettish relief, if you replace the P with an F. A pettish relief. That is weird, okay? Because it's out of nowhere. The repost that Gooseworks makes, I should have made my show hornier, to be honest. Jax is a self-insert, misogynistic, sexist things hiding behind a character as an excuse. When you say that, when you've actively have said that you hate women, that is not okay. Horrible creator that let their problems bleed into their show and had the had this huge amount of time to cut some of it off. And it was fine to ignore some of that, Caleb, because, I mean, the plot was good. And the way that it was written at some parts were good. But it's entirely gone downhill. And in the fact that that stuff was implemented into the ending is awful. Awful. Goose can't get away with something like this just because it's a popular show and because a character is widely liked. It is bad. It is very much bad, and I wish we all were back in 2023 with a different type of TADC that ended better, had better writing, was less misogynistic, sexist, potentially racist if you're willing to go down that route with the isn't she lovely thing. He was praising his black daughter when racism was insane. I'll let that speak for itself. Yeah. There's so many bad things, and I can't wait till people find more. I can't wait for this to get multiple types of videos where it's like the downfall for indie shows, the worst indie show representation, stuff like that, because it almost seemed like it was just for Goose and for nobody else. And that can be the case with multiple games, shows, creations in general. You can make it for yourself, okay? But if you plan on releasing it to the public, you have to make sure that you're also doing it for other people too, and not just for yourself. Because if you're doing it for yourself, you can implement all the errors and all the bad things in that script, because you're not going to show it to anybody, right? So it doesn't matter what you put in there. Don't quote me on that, because there's obviously going to be bad things. But I agree with us on Pomni a lot. Jack, I wanted this to be a solo stream. But I was gonna go to bed, and then I went on TikTok, and I saw the amount of criticism. If TikTok has something to say about it, I'm not sure about Twitter, because I haven't went on Twitter, but if Twitter has something to say about it, God, if Reddit has something to say about it, if anything basically almost but YouTube has something to say about it, bad, then it's bad. It's bad. So, yeah, do not support Gooseworks. Do not support the show in that manner. You can like the show, of course, as I do, but do not support it at all. It is problematic, and you can't do that, separate the art from the artist thing anymore when the artist's problems bleed into the show. And yeah, that I was a broken record for this entire stream, but you know, partly tired, plan on going to bed now. So I hope to see you all later, and maybe a part 2 on this with a list of things that I've gotten down, if I can find it, and we can go through down through it together. And maybe if I have a friend of mine that really enjoys the ending, we can debate about it. And Jack, you're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid, bro. I don't get paid to do these streams. I'm not monetized. But yeah, that's it from me. And yeah,